My name is Jordan, and I am a veteran of the United States Army. I served from 1979 to 1982. But more important than that, I am an addict in recovery. Now, what I could tell you is I wasn't born an addict, but the moment that I picked up and used, an addict was born. You see, I started getting high at the age of 6. My oldest brother, God rest his soul, smoked my first joint with me on my 6th birthday. And from that day on, I'd been an addict for 46 years now. You know, people think all because you grow up with a little money in your pocket that you've got it made. But what people don't know is what goes on behind closed doors. You know, I come from that kind of family that if you were looking at it from the outside in, it appeared to be a happy, normal family, but it was anything but that. From the age 5 to the age 9, I was being molested by my older brother. And that was a really hard part of my life, and by his actions, it caused me to grow up hating all gay men. If they even got within an arm's reach of me, they were getting beat up on. And at the age 15, I watched one of my other family members shoot that same older brother dead right in front of my face. Now, for a lot of years, I didn't talk to that family member because I felt like he had robbed me of something that I wanted to do, and it wasn't until I got into recovery at the age of 35 that I learned how to forgive not only my oldest brother, but the other family member that took his life. You know, I don't know. At the When my older brother died, from the age 15 to about the age 16 and a half, I ran away from home, just wanting to escape from our problems. And at the age of 16 and a half, I came back home with papers from the Army, you know, asking my mom to sign them so I could join the service. And I did that. The day I turned 17 years old, I was gone. Now, I figured I'd be able to escape everything that was happening in my life, but what I didn't know then, because I didn't know about recovery, was no matter where I went, I took myself with me, including any of my behaviors, thoughts, actions, and my disease of addiction continued to progress. I was stationed in the Panama Canal Zone, and that's when I found out about cocaine. And man, did I become a full blown coke addict real quick, along with my drinking. Because being in the military, I was able to buy alcohol at the age of 17 without without any kind of ID. So long as I was on post. So for many years after that, I was an alcoholic. You know, um, I got out of the service in 1982, not only with a coke habit, but also with an LSD habit. Because after a year and 8 months at Panama, they sent me to Fort Ord, and that's when I found LSD, and I lost myself mentally doing all that LSD. And when I got out of the Army, I met my daughter's mom, and my drinking was so out of hand that she told me, she gave me the option: either you give up the alcohol or you give me up. You know, if I'd have known then what I know now, I probably would have stayed drunk through that whole 17 years. But I did. I stayed with my mom, or my daughter's mom, for 17 years, and we put each other through hell. Because we both were under the belief that if you have a child together, you stay with that person. And we wound up doing more damage to my daughter being together than we would have being apart. God blessed me with the most amazing little girl. She, my mom used to tell me, you get to hear that parent's curse. I hope your kids grow up to be just like you. I did a lot of praying that my daughter wouldn't grow up to be just like me. And thank God he heard my prayers, because even though my daughter's got my same sixth sense of humor, she's not an addict. When I sent her off to Oklahoma to get away from me and her mama, because I knew that was the only chance she would have in life, that little girl, I told her, Dad showed you how not to live your life, so now you know exactly what to do. And she has been such an amazing woman. She has two beautiful babies. I've got those two grandbabies. They've never seen their pop loaded, never a day one in their life. You know, um, I started recovery in 1997. I stayed clean for 3 years, and I went back out over a broken heart. And I've always heard it say that there's two answers that'll make a person step out of the recovery real quick: finances and romances. I came home from work one day, and the woman that I had asked to marry me had packed up her 5 kids, everything I owned. She drained out my bank account, took $4,000, took a $10,000 car, and she was gone before I got home from work. Now, I don't know about anybody else. I'm used to losing stuff like that in my addiction, but I wasn't told about things like this happening in my recovery. And my heart was broken. And I remember my mom saying, "You must have done something wrong. You have to stop and think what went wrong." And I didn't do anything wrong. She packed up her kids once she got her kids, because I helped her get her kids out of the system. 2 weeks after she got her kids back, she packed everything up and left, and it devastated me. And that pain that I felt in my heart, everyone kept saying, "Give it to God, he'll take the pain away." Well, in my head, my disease was already working and telling me that God wasn't taking that pain away fast enough, and I knew how to stop that pain. So I went to what I knew I was comfortable with, and that was getting loaded. And from 2001 all the way up to 2011, I bounced in and out of Narcotics Anonymous, using its doors like a revolving door at Macy's. You know, um, I've had good jobs, new vehicles, I mean, everything. And none of that stuff stopped me from getting loaded, ever. Never did it stop me from getting loaded. I would come in and out of the rooms every time I got clean. Every time I got clean, I would talk about how grateful I am. But what I learned is a grateful addict doesn't get loaded. And I would come into the fellowship each time with the attitude that, oh, I know how to do this recovery thing. You can't tell me nothing. I was very closed minded, and I kept getting loaded over and over and over. And what I come to the conclusion of, if I had known anything about recovery, I would be celebrating 18 years. In 2 months, I will be celebrating 5 years without any alcohol, without any mind altering, mood changing chemicals. Today is May 6th. Yesterday, on May 5th, we laid my niece to rest. She was born April 25th, and she died 28 years later on April 25th from a heroin overdose. The person she was getting high with dropped her off in an abandoned house and left her there to die. And she was found a few days later. Now, my first thought was, I'm going to go get this person and beat him within an inch of his life. But no matter how I would have handled that, it wouldn't have brought my niece back. And today I understand, thanks to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, that nobody forced my niece to get loaded like that. And I understand where this gentleman, where his mindset was, he was afraid, and I get that today. So today I'm learning how to pray for people that I don't like very much, and these are some of the things I've learned in Narcotics Anonymous. What I've learned in Narcotics Anonymous is everybody gets a turn. And what I mean by that is you'll be floating along in your recovery. Everything's great. You're riding that pink cloud, and then you get slapped in the face with a no matter what. Now, what's going to define your character and the person you are is how you handle yourself through these kinds of situations. You can let it break you, or you can let it make you. And today I choose to let it make me. My clean date is July 1st, 2011. I came into this fellowship with great desperation. I remember years ago I had a friend said, I'm gonna wish desperation upon you. And I remember thinking in my head, why would you wish something so horrible on somebody? But today I understand that desperation is a gift, because that's what it took to get me back to the fellowship. I used to hate, because I was living on the outskirts of town thinking that I wouldn't see anybody from the fellowship. And there was a certain person in the fellowship who has 16 years clean, but he'd drive down my street 3 times a week and he'd see me out there spun out. And I'm thinking, man, he'd stop his truck, back up, and he'd say, hey, brother, how you doing? And everything inside me wanted to scream, man, I can't stop getting loaded. I need help. But the only words that would come out of my mouth was, I'm fine. And I don't know about how you guys look at the word fine, but I looked at it as effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. And I was all of the above. I despised the person that was looking at me in the mirror. When I seen my eyes, there was nothing there. It felt like somebody had detached my soul from my body. When I got arrested in 2011, because I prayed to my higher power to help take me out of the lifestyle I was living in, and a couple of days later, my higher power sent some angels to me dressed in sheriff's uniforms with badges. And I don't know about anybody else, but when I sat in that back of that cop car, handcuffed, I took a deep breath just like that, and I told myself, thank God it's over. Today my life is amazing. The only promise that was promised to me when I got to the fellowship was freedom from active addiction. Anything else that has happened after that has been a blessing from my higher power, who I choose to call God. Today I'm driving a brand new car. I have a full-time career. I have an amazing woman that God blessed me with. And when I first seen her, I remember that was the first time I heard something with my heart and not my ears. And that was God telling me, this is the woman I created for you, and you need to learn how to love her as I love her. Today, my life is amazing. I have no chaos, no drama, no nothing in my life. I lean on the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous anytime I have to go through, no matter what. 20 days after I celebrated my first year clean, God took my mom to go be with him in heaven. I had to walk through that clean. I lost my best friend. I had to walk through that clean. My brother was hit and run over on a motorcycle on life support for a month and a half. I walked through that clean. And I did it with the help of the fellowship. So if you're new in recovery, I'm begging you, please give this thing called recovery a chance. 1 year, give it 1 year. I promise you, your life will be better. If you don't feel your life is changing in that 1 year, I guarantee you that misery is still out there waiting on you, and it'll pick right back up where you left off and increase tenfold. Now I have to get back to work right now, so I'd like to thank the admins of this room for asking me to speak, and I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me to be a part of your recovery. My name is Jordan S. I am an addict from Bakersfield, California, and I pray that you find in your recovery everything that I have found. God bless and have a good day.